We're pilgrims on the journey of a narrow road, and those who've gone before us line the way. CIA takes us back to 1961, pre-independence Jamaica. It was the eve of a new era, not just for Jamaica, but the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Jamaica. The West Indies Union organized its third conference, the Central Jamaica Conference, in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. And Pastor Edwin Hyatt was among the first set of workers to be employed, serving in the capacity as Sabbath School and Home Missionary Secretary. In 1966, he was appointed the Executive Secretary, and 2 years later, in 1968, succeeded Elder H.S. Walters as Conference President. He was no ordinary leader. He had a passion for the work and led by example. Today, we share the story of this remarkable leader and the lives of those he impacted.
Now, what was he like? He's an Indian, half Indian. He looks full Indian? No, half Indian. Tall, slim, straight body. Spoke well, clearly, out you could hear.
He's always nicely dressed, and he was always out in the field. When we have pastime, we always have nice dinners. And he enjoyed good fellowship.
One thing he always did was put his hand around the shoulder of the visiting worker, or whenever he went to the, and he hardly said pastor in addressing his workers man to man. He said brother, that was his relationship.
I could sit with him and talk, not just about anything. As a young man growing up, could you talk with him? Yeah, man, you talk with him. He'd give you advice. And he'd tell me, don't do that, brother. Don't do that. Make things like, don't make sense.
When he makes a promise, you can go to sleep because he will fulfill it. Yeah. Man of his word. And next thing, I have to say that he was always punctual to come to the meetings. We never have to wait on him. He's always there on time, which I believe is a great principle for a leader to exercise. Yes.
I never saw him get mad and raise his voice. Can't remember that.
He was a peacemaker, really. Sometimes you think that he was soft. Sometimes you think that Hyatt was too weak, But that's how he was. He was that person. He didn't look a fight. I don't know if he ran from a fight. But he didn't look a fight.
Elder Hyatt's dedication to the work paralleled the commitment he had to his family, who were a huge part of his ministry. He was also very instrumental in the infrastructural development of several projects, including the conference office.
He did a tremendous work. Working with the pastors, I wonder if there was a campaign that they had in St. Catherine that he didn't visit. He was that type of a person.
He had a great passion for evangelism and Christian education.
Under him, the school started in Spanish Town. And of course, the canvassing work under Pastor Grant, was very highly, strongly supported by him. He did a wonderful job there.
One of the major accomplishments of this pioneer leader was the acquisition of Camp Burley.
See, at Camp Burley, all that property, he was instrumental in getting past Hearst to get the property first. So here they call it Camp Burley because the man who owned the property was Mr. Burley. And Mr. Burley gave the property to the conference. Gave the 100 acres of land, gave it. And he gave past Hearst, the man who engineered it. We already call Pastor Hearst the hitman. Anything you have to do, call a hitman. I want that piece of land, call a hitman. I want that, call a hitman. That's Hearst. And Hyatt to talk to Hearst, because then we shut up from long from school days. And although Pastor Hearst was a minister, he didn't display this ministry thing. He was more like an advisor, counselor. And he would come here and sit with you and tell you what you could do and how you could do. He said, see that land? I'm going to get the land. So all of the campsite, he got it.
Away from the hustle and bustle of city life, Camp Burley offers an environment that transports you back to nature. You are surrounded by exotic horticulture, friendly wildlife, natural flowing waters, and a soothing spring water pool.
He did not take a vacation until his third term, and then it was just to facilitate, I think, one of his children who he took to the United States to school. And that's the kind of man he was.
I shall not forget, we had problems. I say I have to record this part. We had problems in the conference. It is when the riots in the conference started. There is no ends of war. But Hyatt could come there and talk and be quiet and be calm and put his point to it. He was able to do that. Even though people were fighting against him. I know they wanted to overthrow him. One of the workers had organized a committee, a group, he called it pastors meeting, to overthrow Hyatt. They were going to overthrow Hyatt. I knew, I heard. So I went to the board meeting and I said, Elder Hyatt, they are planning to overthrow you. They are planning to overthrow you. So I am advising you, you better sit in the chair and get firm in the chair to defend yourself. Defend yourself in that chair. And he just said to me, he called me Doc all the while. He said, I will never stay in this chair to defend myself. All my stay in this chair will be protect the church and protect the workers and all of that. I am not going to defend myself. And I said to him, Ella, if you don't defend yourself in that chair, you're not going to be there long enough to defend anybody else. And he said, so let it be there. It is. So right after that now, we know that they are working at overthrowing him. I know that. He knows that. But he seems not to be worried. He seems not. His concern was the schools to be run. The workers need to go forward. We have to get things done. We have to get the churches running good. We have to get the workers running good. And that's how we do it.
During his presidency, I noticed that he took great care in mentoring young pastors. He wanted to see them grow and develop. I also think he was a very wise leader because after serving as president for 12 years, he stepped aside and opened the way for new leadership, which is not so often an occurrence in the work of the church. I give great praise to men who can serve and know when to step aside. And that was exactly what he did.
Pastor Edwin Hyatt left a wonderful record. He didn't want to continue in that leadership role for longer, as he wanted to take a change from the field. But he didn't leave without preparing his workers for the fact that at the end of that third term, he wouldn't be accepting a vote for president again.
Pastor Edwin Hyatt served the Central Jamaica Conference as president for 12 years before resigning in 1980. After which he migrated to the United States, but his pastoral ministry continued for 17 years.
And while he was in the United States, he displayed himself as one of the great pastors over there. Wherever he went, he was so greatly beloved and highly respected.
In 2005, he relocated to Miramar, Florida, and he later died in 2008, leaving his wife of 55 years, Mavis, who is now deceased, and 4 children, Beverly, Marlene, Charmaine, and Edwin Jr.
We missed him in those days. I still do miss him. As a matter of fact, he went up to the States. When he came back here, he came and looked me up, of course, and just the same jolly person. Howie, how you the boy? No, that was the way we met.
We always say leadership is hardship, but I think he displayed himself very well as a conference president.
I look forward to seeing Elder Hyatt again and to meeting him. He was that dedicated man that we don't know now, but that I feel sure that by God's grace, I will see him in the kingdom.
Indeed, Pastor Edwin Hyatt's leadership is one that can be emulated today. He was a gentleman, small in stature, but had a giant of a character, one whose integrity was not impacted by adversity. His life was indeed the stirring testament of God's sustaining grace. Like him, may all who come behind us find us faithful.